This is how I created the routes for cross-country bike trip. We're starting on the East Coast in Washington, D.C. and going to Seattle, or more specifically Forks, right on the edge of Washington State. You can see by the legend, I started with this railstotrails.org, map, and you can see on the legend there's a couple of different types of trails showing here. The really nice trails are green with the yellow stripe in the center. They call them the gateway trails. Regular trails are green, and then there's some red lines, which are planned segments, meaning, I guess, planned trails, but they haven't been officially adopted and can be used by this organization. And then the unplanned segments are just rectangles here, so you're kind of on your own. But of course, they have a beginning and an end, so you kind of have limited options, to go through. All right, so let's zoom in here, take a brief look here. If you click on any one trail, it turns like a light blue, and you can see that's not even the first trail. We have to zoom in more here because on the East Coast, there's a lot of short trail segments. So that looks like the first one, and that's a regular trail, and this is a regular trail, and so on. You can kind of see just this one little shape here is three, separate trails. And these are all in Trail Link, and you can specifically go to with Learn More. You click on this, and it will take you. Let's see. Now with some error messages saying it's not, private, but here's the, the different link there. So that didn't work all that well to get to Trail Link, but let's start on my map. So what I did is I took this, close this. I took these links and basically redrew them in RideWithGPS, and I chose RideWithGPS just because they have a route planner where you can draw a map, and that's in the free plan. Strava, you have to pay for a minimum plan, I think, to get that feature. Anyways, so I had to zoom in quite a bit and then draw that. So let's take a look at that. I have routes here, and I have them numbered 11 through 21 just so they can sort alphabetically and still you come out in order. And this tells me it's 191 miles, and there's an elevation gain of 1,990 feet. The steepest grade is 15.3, and the steepest downhill is 18.6 downhill, and so on. And you can see by the color coding that there's a lot of red stripes here. That just means it's unpaved. In this case, it means it's a, dirt, gravel, whatever trail, which is to be expected. And this is a paved surface. So if we zoom in here, you can see that on the map, and it's redrawing here. Yeah, you can see this is a red outline, and then this is solid red. So this doesn't exactly match the Great American Rail Trail, color coding, but it is fine. And I'm getting some distortion here, but you get the idea. All right. This is all repeating here, so it's not working. So let me redraw, see how that comes out. There we go. So here's the route, and this was fairly easy, especially on the East Coast. And then let's take a look at the first. I'm going to close this trail link because we're not going to use that for this video. And you can see there's the route. I redrew it in RideWithGPS. Let's go to the first segment that is not a real trail. Say we're right outside of Pittsburgh. So, it's kind of obvious that you would go along the riverbank there. So let's take a look at that. And this is Pittsburgh, Cumberland through Pittsburgh to Bowerstown, Ohio. So let's look at Pittsburgh. And you can see, zoom in here. I chose the basic just to go on the south side of the riverbank and what I thought was best. So if you have any other suggestions, let me know. But that's what I did there. So this is like what I would call a rectangle where you're on your own. They didn't suggest any routes there. It's not even a red line, which we'll come up on soon. Okay, so here's a red line, and this means to me that this is a suggested route, but it's not officially part of the Rails to Trails. And let's take a look at that. Zoom back out. And you can see, let's see, this is Weirton, and it's on the edge and goes to Hopedale and Cadiz, etc. So I think that's this map here. Yeah, so you can see there's some sections here. I think this is the first one that I drew, and it's purposely in magenta, and this is following it off-road. And if I go to change the map here, it's, let's see, USGS topo. You can see there's the topo map, and then also USGS scans. So you can see behind this, there's the old railroad line. So I don't know if that's a safe, doable path, but that's what I chose. Worst comes to worst, I have to go around here and go on some of these roads, but I don't know if this is a good, plan or not. So, and let's take a look here at Wintersville, and this is, whoops. So I need a better way probably to correlate in this video. It's hard to sort of figure out, what map number that is. Let's try number 14. Yeah, so this is up to Lake Michigan, and you can see there's some areas here. Let's zoom in on these magenta areas. So this is just a section, like a mile or two, I think, a few miles of rail bed. And let's see if I can find the different trail here, USGS topo, there to Gas City. So, is that a safe way, or did you, ride on Highway 69 and go this way, or, avoid this altogether? And you can see when you zoom in on some of these, the different. Let's look at the scan here. Sometimes these scans are the best. Yeah, this is what I used. You can see this line with the little crossings here is the old railroad line. So this is a good example. Gaston up to Gas City. You know, is that a okay route, or did you have to go the roads? And I call it etch a sketch along these farm, grid roads. So, all right, let's take number 15. I'm doing a redraw on here because I changed the resolution. Okay, so this is from, Chicago. And you can see there's some off-road areas here, but I don't see any magenta, so I think I stuck to the path here. And then let's see, Route 16. So this is Nebraska, and this is where I followed the Etch-a-Sketch route on the farm routes to go from what is it, Cedar Falls, Iowa, to Omaha. So again, this is Nebraska, and this is looks like 296 miles, not 196. But here's a magenta area where I'm following an old rail line. Let's take a look at the USGS scans, and that's what I followed here, and you can see it's marked on here. CNNW. I think that's just the name of the old rail line. But, is that a good bet, or do I need to be more cautious and follow the farm roads? All right, so that's 16, and then 17, redraw that. This is Council Bluffs, so this is Nebraska. Yeah, this is all of Nebraska to the border of Wyoming. And you can see it's mostly red. Here's all the Etch-a-Sketch path here. And here's some sort of risky old rail line kind of, we hope there's a path type of situation there. Or do you recommend following this road? I didn't see any frontage roads on here, so, and wanted to avoid that road, but it may be the better thing to do. Also, I may come back here on some of these Etch-a-Sketch routes where I picked, even though they are on roads, is to make that a different color so that I can see that it's, not a defined rails to trails, pathway. It's my own, choice. All right, so let's look at Wyoming. I'm going to redraw this. So this is where there's the most following, and there's just so few roads here. You can see there's standard road, there's some off-road. Here's some old rail pathway. Hopefully we can make it. And then this is, all paved, basically, I don't know, highways or paved roads. So that's what I chose there. Wyoming, I think, by far has the most miles that are not defined by rails to trails. So as you can see, we go through Cody and then Yellowstone up here. And this is where I started doing one map per state. So let's go to 19. And this is Montana. And you can see kind of go diagonal here. Let me redraw this. And starting here, by the way, this green arrow means the start of a route, and it goes up through Bozeman, Butte, Deer Lodge, Missoula, up to here. And this, I purposely did this on the border of Idaho, and the route in Idaho we do is just 90 miles. We'll see that in the next one. Let's redraw this. And what I wanted to mention here was there's a Ride the Hiawatha, famous nice trail, and I believe it's just out and back 15 miles. Is that worth it? It seems to start somewhere in here, go down south and west, and then we'd have to go back because there's no way to, at least showing on the map, that can get back. In fact, this Ride with GPS doesn't even seem to show that route, so that's a bummer. But I'm sure I can find it on one of these different pull downs to see. All right, so that's Idaho, and then Washington. So this is the last map, 11 through 21, so 11 maps. And this has the most miles, 560 miles. And the question here was, did you go all the way, take this ferry and go all the way to the Olympic Peninsula? From what I remember, this is a really beautiful, nice route here along the peninsula. And there's forks, and then all the way to the seashore to be official is what I drew. Well, that's the route, and so far, thanks for watching.